Hey everybody, this is Transcribers, I think week 17, and we're talking about Rugrats and ankle biters, otherwise known as children. Todd
Hey.
is going to join me, because we were talking about it, and he has a lot to say, and I probably wouldn't get it all out or correct if I tried to relay it either. So we're just going to kind of talk about how we feel about children. The first question is, how do you feel about them in general? And we kind of feel the same way in that we know right now we're definitely not ready for them. We're both 27. He turned 27 yesterday. Happy birthday. And we kind of are leaning towards not wanting them at all in the future. But at the same time, we're not ruling it out because you never know what your future may hold or how you may feel. And it's not like we hate kids. We just don't know if we can handle that or if we want to handle that.
Yeah, want to.
I had a
big responsibility.
Yeah, I mean everybody's got their own stories, but I'm like I don't want to be responsible for screwing somebody else up.
Yeah.
Like it's hard. It's hard enough taking care of yourself, much less somebody else. And we're at that age where all of our friends are like getting married and having kids, and we're hanging out with them, and whoo.
Yeah.
Whew, you must have to love something like that, to put up with something like that. But, so we do see eye to eye. And like I said, we're not ready for them. We don't necessarily want them, but we're not ruling it out. Agreed?
Yep, agreed.
Agreed. It's a big responsibility. We both feel that it is a huge responsibility that some people, I'm not dissing other people, but some people take it lightly or don't understand what they're getting themselves into. And I know that's been happening for millions of years. People have been having kids and not knowing what the hell to do with them, and everybody turns out fine. Well, not everybody, but
for the most
so
part.
anyway, do we have a plan? Well, the question is, does your partner, Todd, have a plan on having kids? And it's kind of no.
Yeah.
Because you don't plan
No.
for them yet. But again, because we're not ruling them out, if we were to have children, or I guess whoever you're with, which would be me, if we have plans, we probably plan to adopt. The world is grossly overpopulated, and we'll be glad to give somebody a good home. Unless, because we read this article about DNA manipulation, and so anyway, long story short, if it's ever possible to combine our genes into a child, we might consider it.
Maybe. Still a big maybe.
All of this is maybe. So yeah, that's so far. How do we feel about trans guys that choose to carry their own children like Thomas Beatty and others? I personally, kind of like I say with a lot of things, it's a very personal decision, to each his own. And I know, like in Thomas Beatty's case, I think his wife couldn't carry children, so he decided he would, and he was perfectly okay with that, and that's perfectly okay with me, because whatever floats your boat. But coming from Todd's perspective, and like me seeing Todd's perspective of trans, I know that you find it harder or less tangible for you about feeling that way.
Yeah, I'll never. Mm-mm.
I know that he feels, he is discussed. I know he's claiming up now.
Sorry.
But we were talking earlier, and for him it's just an issue of, that's a very integral part of being female, and he certainly doesn't want any part of that. No. We'd probably adopt.
Well, yeah, that wouldn't happen at all.
Well, I mean, like, if I couldn't carry and the option was you, we would adopt.
It's not an option.
Right.
For us, yeah.
He would never do that. But again, if he thinks it's fine, if that's how you feel and you're comfortable with that, then more power to you. You live the life the way you want to.
Yeah, more power to you.
That's great for others, just not for him.
Not comfortable with that.
If we have children, the question is how and when or if would you come out to them? And so we kind of talked about this, and we think there's no real concrete answer. We think it's one of those where, in general, we want to educate our children to be compassionate to the variety of people that this world holds. And so some of that would be specific education about gay and lesbian and trans and bisexual when when the time is right. And we just really feel like the same thing for this. It would be a when the time is right, and then that time would present itself.
Yeah.
We talked about, for example, if we had a boy, it may be different. You know, there may be, like, you may have to address some of these things before they hit puberty. But again, we just feel probably while they're younger, but it will come out in time just as is. There's no real, like, we're going to hide it from the child, but there's also no real, like, we're going to have to sit down and tell them daddy is trans at some point, you know. But
it's a flow thing.
Right. And it was like we were saying, you know, I don't feel like it's something you want to wait till necessarily like, oh, till the kid's 18 and they can handle it. Because then you have a lot of distrust issues that can form between you and your children. Like, oh my God, why did you keep this from me? You know, something this large, you know, you're my dad, I love you, you know. Or whatever the scenario may be. We do feel like ultimately it's best because children are such sponges and they're so honest and open and understanding. P.S. We were at SCC, I think I mentioned in my last video a couple weekends ago.
Southern Comfort Conference.
Yes, I mentioned
Okay.
in my last video. Anyway, and there was a documentary that we didn't see. Well, they were screening like 5 years later. But there is a documentary out there called No Dumb Questions. And you can go to nodumbquestions.com and order it. We ordered it today because we're going to screen it and consider sending it to his brother who has children who we know they are very concerned about how to tell them, if they tell them, you know, that kind of stuff. But from the brief pieces that we saw, it was about children. And them learning about their dad or, you know,
Nieces
stepdad.
and nephews. It's a trans woman that, I forget what the bio name was, but it's going from uncle to aunt. And they love their uncle. Well, they love their aunt the same, basically. And it shows the kids' thought processes and how they understand and how the information was presented to them.
So I think that could be a great resource for anybody who has children in their life, either as their own children or as nieces and nephews. The clips that we saw were really great because the children were all extremely understanding. They were just like, oh, well, my uncle was born in the wrong body, so now he's my aunt, and we love her. They were very open, and again, it's just kind of a great quality that children have. They are extremely open and honest and receptive, and it's a great quality that, unfortunately, we lose as we become adults. So, I guess that's really all we have to say about kids. They're great and all. We just don't know if we want them. We may be a little selfish.
Yeah, maybe. I kind of want to keep the honeymoon thing going on.
We want our time together. And
travel.
Yeah, I was going to say, me personally, there's just a lot I want to do.
Surgery's expensive.
Yeah, and kids are expensive. And like I said, the world's overpopulated as is. Not that we couldn't adopt someone, but I want to travel. I want to travel a lot. And I don't want to be tied down for 18 years and resent somebody and really screw them in the head. We just, obviously, we're not ready now, and we just don't know that we will be. But it's a very serious, you know, consideration for us. And even my mom asked me. I remember when we came out to her about Todd, she's like, well, do y'all want kids? And I was like, well, maybe, but maybe not. And it has nothing to do with him being trans. We just don't really want kids. They're a lot. And God love people who do want them. But what's funny is I've always been told I'm very motherly and maternal and mothering, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, I guess that's it. Y'all have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Say bye.
Bye.